I think we were fleshing out the. I think we were fleshing out the AI language model implementation. But let's just take a look. So there were a couple of to-dos in here. Let's see. Actually, let's take a look at the Google PR. Yeah, I know I made some improvements there. So I kind of wanted to bring over. So for the Google client, I did some stuff. Okay. So one of the things we did for the Google client that I think would be useful to do here is to make sure that all of the Amazon headers that contain information that we want to redact are actually redacted. So let's do that. So let's go back, dude. Headers, maybe. Let's list them out. Somewhere in here. I gotta remember. So you got the access key ID, which doesn't technically need to be redacted, I guess. What's up, Mattia? Let's make this all a little more explicit. And the access key ID does not need to be redacted. Yeah, so the implementation for Bedrock was a little tricky because we want to use their Converse API, provide like a nicer API than lurking around while finishing some stuff. That's fine. Feel free to hang out for the music or whatever. It's going to be like a reasonably short stream today. I probably only had like an hour and 20 minutes before I have a couple of meetings. But we're going to see if we can get this Bedrock provider a little more finished up. Okay, so I need to know what the names of these headers are. I don't know if this is going to take me anywhere useful, but let's look. Nope. All right, so what we need is to look at AWS, vForce, Finer, and field. Wireless package. AWS for fetch. Okay. What we want to see. Here we go. Here we go. So we want to redact this one. The session token for sure. The other one we want is to redact the secret key, but I don't know. I don't know if the secret access key is like sent as a header or if it's encoded. Let's see. Secret access key. What's up, MSPS? MSMPS. I remember you told me to call you. Wait, did you tell me to call you something? Ethan? No. Yes? Matt. Okay. What's up, Matt? I had to learn everybody's names. Um, I mean, the easiest way to build the grep TUI Effect CLI on Twitter. Oh, cool. Very nice. That was cool stuff. Here we go. I think authorization is redacted automatically. So we're going to redact the security token. I think the access key ID plus credential string. What does the credential string have? As the date, time, a region, the service, AWS for request. I don't think we really need to care about that. Signed headers. This is signed headers. This signed headers equals signable headers not join. Signable headers. Not unsignable headers, but has headers. Okay. What are the unsignable headers? Authorization content type user. There's a trace ID. Okay. So that means where's the secret access key? Make it in here. So we got the signature. What this? Bozo's paid. Hello. We are working on finishing up. So I don't know if you're familiar with Effect or not, but I had started building a Amazon Bedrock provider integration for the Effect AI SDKs a while back. Never heard of it before. Okay. Then this is Effect. It's a software package frameworks ecosystem of libraries and TypeScript. And there's a lot of stuff in here. One of the things that we have is an AI SDK, which you can see here. And we're building our AI SDK, similar to Vercel's, is provider agnostic. You write your code in the way that doesn't care about which provider you use, and then you plug in a provider later, like Google or Amazon or OpenAI or Anthropic, whatever. And at the moment, we only have providers for Anthropic and OpenAI through these two packages. But I'm adding support for Google's generative AI SDK, as well as Amazon Bedrock's Converse API. So today, I'm trying to finish up a PR I started a few weeks ago on adding support for like basic functionality of the Bedrock. Basic functionality of the Bedrock API into our AI SDKs. I don't know how many times I just said AI. Jesus. I wonder if I should redact the signature. Well, we are HVAC encoding it with. Are we HVAC encoding it with our secret? Because if so, I don't think I need to redact it. Yeah. So I think this is fine for now. We can still maybe an array. And then we can do the same thing we did in our Google. That's fucking sick. Thank you. If you're curious about Effect, take a look at our website. I'll paste the link in chat. It's definitely a little bit of a learning curve with our libraries, but there are many companies, both large and small, using Effects now in production. We've been around for a long time, like 6 years or so, 5 years. But it's starting to get quite a bit of traction. And like Matt Pocock on Twitter, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but he has recently been tweeting a lot about Effect as well. You can see like it's tweeting about like the fact that even though Effect looks FP-ish, it's not. But I think Matt is thinking about doing a course on Effect, which is kind of cool. What tools should have you built with Effect fibers? The easiest. Let me put say quotes. Easiest. Use them for background tasks in a service. E.g., listening to a queue or similar, and the Twitch integrations I've been building recently. Let's give him GitHub work. It was my check it out for real. I like messing around with new shit. Cool. All right, let's get back to over here. Okay, so I think that's the only header we need to encrypt or redact for now. So let's do the same thing we do. The same thing we do in the Google thing, where we do an effect locally scoped with headers pairing back names, so we can do an array dot and with all the headers. So let's finish that response to that. Basically, create pub sub. I don't want to use the word pub sub because we have a pub sub. uh, yeah. Well, it's going to need to force this. Okay, so this should allow us to have at least the headers that we want redacted. What the fucking yeah. Do I do backend? Do I just do backend SDK stuff? No, I do a lot of different stuff. For Effect, for the libraries and Effect as like a software package, I primarily now work on like the AI integrations, and I'm also probably the core maintainer of the CLI package we have. But like I kind of do a little bit of everything. But for the company, Effectful Technologies, I do a variety of different things. My background is more DevOps, system administration. So I do like a lot of automation stuff and that sort of thing as well. But I don't do that on stream. Stream is just for software. Okay, so I don't think we need this anymore. If we leave a key, we'll rotate the keys. Okay. Let's actually do what we're supposed to do here and do a filters. I will say 10. This client should not be the OK client. So we go Amazon, Bedrock, config file. And we can actually just cargo cult this from the Google one and make some changes. What we've recently been streaming on Bozo's paid is work that I've been doing on my Twitch integrations. But today we're doing like obviously SDK stuff. But if you're interested in testing out the Twitch integrations, you can go into the channel points section of your chat, and you can actually use the song request reward that I've been building. If you click that and paste in a Spotify song link, it will allow you to add it to my Spotify queue. In fact, I want to listen to that song from the League of Legends thing that we listened to yesterday. I'm going to force you all to listen to it again. Copy link to song request, chat. All right. So let's everywhere in here. Let's do a Google. Actually, what did they call it? Dude? Just Amazon Bedrock, right? Yeah. So Google AI for Amazon Bedrock. So this will allow us to grab the config service. Right now, it's only got a single method on it. Cool. Now we can come back here and do the same thing we were doing on the Google side. God, I freaking love this song. Does it to YouTube? No, it just connects to because like I can't. I'm only listening through Spotify, so I can't like add. I don't think I can add YouTube songs to my Spotify queue. But for now, I just made it integrate with Spotify. So if you click copy a link and paste it over here, it'll add as my queue, and you can do whatever genre you want. I don't care. It's really meant to democratize the music we listen to. So this way, everybody can listen to the things that they're interested in. Importing the show. Not client. There we go. Six for 12. You're Ethan, if I remember correctly. Okay. I'm trying to get everybody's name straight. Cool. Okie dokie. So now we've got this wired up, which is good. Let me remember where I'm using the OK client, HTTP client. Okay. It's in the stream. Oh yeah, Mattia, have you seen the stuff on Twitter about those two guys that are like bringing back Italo Disco? You can put some of that stuff to like give you. Let me see if I can find them. Hang on. So- dude, every time I try to talk to Mattia, he gets an ad break. Itali disco artists. I don't remember the names of these guys, but they're hilarious. Yes. Yes, Ethan, that's exactly right. they're like they're like it's like a mechanic and like some delivery guy, and now they're like huge in the Italo disco scene. Mattia might know. Dami R, hello. I have a question about schedules. Docs only mention how to use them to repeat an effect, but I'm using the best module, arguable, cron, to create background task schedule, and I want to execute effects according to the created schedule. Yeah, to do that, you can just do you can do like it's not going to be syntax highlighted, but schedule effect. And you can do like an effect, some effect, right? And then pipe it into a effect.schedule. Schedule.fixed, let's just say 100 millius. This will run an effect on that schedule forever. Mind enterprises, they're called. Okay, I'm going to look at them in a second. So, Dami, you can do that, but just to be clear, this will block. If you want to fork this into a fiber and execute it in the background, You can either do it explicitly with fork, effect.fork, or effect.fork scoped, or whatever. But we also, because it's like such a common situation to schedule something into the background, we haven't actually got like a schedule forked method, which is literally, instead of doing this forked scoped, you could just do schedule forked. So like you can basically omit the fork scoped. So that's if you want to do the task in the background. If you want to like fork it into a Fiverr and let it run in the background. Okay. Focus, Max. Focus. Make clients. In here, are we using there's something on HTTP client request that what is filter status? Okay, bro. Transform response. Okay. So instead of doing this, we've got to do an effect dot flat math needs to be filter. So it's okay. Dami, let me know if that is what you needed. There are other ways to do that, but that's just the easiest. So, there's an Italian band that was remade a Rammstein song, and it's an absolute banger. I might not look it, but I grew up like nearly 100% of the time. I'm like, ethnically, I'm mostly Irish and like English or whatever, but but like I grew up almost 100% Italian from like a cultural perspective. I'm like quarter Italian, but that was my whole like childhood. So didn't have any exposure to like the other, like the Irish, English, whatever parts of my culture. Well, yeah, my father's side is a little bit of a like mixture, but my mother's side is 50-50 Irish Italian. Um, and I don't like when that's. Oops. Let's see. What are we listening to? Listening to Italian people talk to each other. I'm just skipping the rest of this. How does it feel to be a driving force behind what is most likely to be the future of the whole JSTS ecosystem? Wow. That is a very nice comment. Um, I don't know. It feels pretty cool. We've been building Effect for like the better part of like 6 years. So it's kind of cool to see more people starting to take notice. Um, Yeah, just kind of cool to see more people starting to. That wasn't mine. All right, whatever. Yeah, I think it's just really nice to start seeing other people start to take notice of the libraries and start to see the value. We went quote unquote viral like a year ago um, on Twitter. And there was a lot more like hate that we received, which is like you try not to let it get to you, but it's always demoralizing. Um, my team lead calls Effect the poor man's Zio. I mean, that's fine. The author of Zio, you can tell him this, Ethan. The author of Zio, John DeGoes, uh, literally came to our conference last year and told everybody about how Effect is better than Zio. There's actually a video on YouTube of it. Uh, Here, you can send your team lead this if he's such a Zio fanboy. Um, where's John's talk? Yeah, this one. This talk was epic. Why Effect is more important than Zio. Oh, then it just, I mean, listen, I I have a hard time. I mean, listen, I'm sure your teammate is a great person. Um, I've worked with folks like that in the past. I have a hard time finding respect for people who don't um, give things an honest try before dismissing them. I really do. It's something that has always bothered me, not just with the fact, but like in general. PR. What about PR? Anyway, so yeah, I try to like be really open minded because I think like a really good mentor or senior engineer or whatever will always take the time to like try something out and find the value in it, right? Like I've had seniors like that before that I've worked with, and now that like I'm sort of kind of like a senior, I try to do the same thing. But mentors I've had in the past have always tried to give things that people built the benefit of the doubt before dismissing them. And I think that's the mark of a really good engineer. Somebody who can like critically evaluate a piece of software after having tried it. I think a year ago when we went viral, a lot of the hate we received was like people who had never even touched Effect, like just looked at pieces of code that people were posting and were like, "Wow, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen." And we were just like, "I don't know what to tell you." But anyways, to close my soapbox and get back to what we were doing, um, I'm just happy to see that folks are starting to actually like critically evaluate Effect. Like it's fine if you try it out and you're like, this is just like not for me. That is totally fine. I just have a hard time with I have not even like downloaded Effect to try it, and I'm dismissing it 100%. If you've given it an honest try and you're like, this is not for me, then I'm like, that's totally fine. Yeah, no, this is not a knock against your team lead. This is not a knock against your team lead. This is just my general opinion on engineering and like evaluating new technologies, which is if you always are going to dismiss new technologies that come around and look different than what you're used to, you're never going to grow as an engineer, and you're never going to let people who you're mentoring grow either. There's that too. I mean, like, yeah, I just really like cool pieces of tech. So when something new comes around, I like to at least try it out and see. Let's fix this stuff up. So why is this unhappy now? Redacted. Right. We don't need this to be redacted. This is a string now. It can be a little more explicit here. String contain these. No, no. Okay. I don't like shoehorning a language tool. I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't like shoehorning solutions into things either. I'm not used to use Rust ever, but I like using Rust. I'm like a year into programming, and I first tried to use Rust to make CryptoBots. That's fine. Yeah. That's fine, Moses. You got to start somewhere. Okay. Are we already filtering the status? We are. So we don't need to do this. Okay. What else are we missing? This is the client side. I think the client side is good for now. Let's go over to the language model side and see where we left off here. Welcome to the rabbit hole. Yeah. Welcome to the rabbit hole. There's cake at the end, actually. All right. I don't remember where I left off here. I really should learn to leave to dos for myself. Did I leave to dos? No. Sucks. So, no tokenizer for now, which I think is fine. Got these utilities. I think we can probably try this out. Let's go PNPM inclusion. I think in my scratch pad. Yeah. I can just change this to copy that's friend. All right. Let me see if I can log into AWS without leaking anything to you folks. No credentials found. Let's do this. Let's do. Well, let's do. No. 10 years of experience with Effect. Yeah. I don't even think Mike has 10 years of experience with Effect. All right. So what we're doing here, we're evaluating the meaning of life. Okay. Well, if we're going to evaluate the meaning of life, we might as well do it in a larger chemical. Scratch God. Cool. So it looks like our Bedrock integration is working reasonably well. For the streaming use case, let's see if our tool call stuff is working. We could probably just grab examples from the website. I remember some big open source project, and the author applied to 3 jobs, which was while using the project failed to have a role he wasn't qualified. Tech is so weird. Oh man. What was I doing? I feel website. Use. So we're gonna grab this. And then we need our toolkit. And then we're going to want this full thing. So we need from platform import platform. HTTP client request, HTTP client response. All right. I think Michael should apply to a job involving Effect and see what happens. Yeah, he should do it, but do it undercover. Like, like apply to some company using Effect, but do it undercover and like see if he gets the job, and then like post his experience to YouTube or something. I still can't get my head around the RPC stuff. Does it have the concept of error codes like TRPC, or do you just handle the serialized tight effect errors? You declare your errors as part of the RPC. There's not error codes. You can fully describe your errors like with normal errors. So if we go to the docs, packages, when you declare your RPC, you declare like the type of your error. So right now, this is just like a simple string. But because you're using schema, you can declare like whatever error you want. As long as you declare it with like a schema.tagged error, it will be able to be serialized and sent over the wire. So this schema.string is a simple case, but it could be like more complex error structure. And if the RPC fails, it's saying that like this is the error it's going to fail with. Hello, my name is Mitchell Arbani. I've never used Effect before. Oh my god. I'm going to send this to Mike. My Twitch chat is saying, I'm actually going to put this in like our core org chat because that is hilarious. Yeah, my Twitch chat is saying, well, what was it? I'll do sounds hopefully. Well, this is really funny, dude. It's never gonna happen, but still really funny. Freeze the effects. Mitchell Armani. That makes a lot of sense. Like, is it easy enough to differentiate the errors on the client side? Something like hashtag. Yeah, when you call the RPC, like it's fully type safe. So like when you describe your RPCs with like Effect RPC, the types that you get back for like when you generate a client will it like indicate that these are the errors that you could fail with. So like if we look over here, where are we? Right here, we're making a client out of the user RPCs. And because we do that, the client knows like what it can fail with. So like when you are like executing an RPC here, like when we do a client on user list or whatever, the client will know that user list, which is declared over here, can't fail at all. Right? We always succeed. Because and this will also be propagated to the implementation. So like when you actually implement user RPCs, if you try to make it fail with a typed error, you'll get a compiler error. So the whole point is that when you're declaring your RPCs, you as the developer declare the protocol you're going to expose as like here, and then both the implementation and the client and the server, everything knows based on that protocol what it can and can't do. So yeah, if you tried in the implementation of user lists, like if we go down here, when you implement user list here, if you tried to fail in here with a typed failure, not like a defect, but like a typed failure, you'd get a compiler error. And similarly, like on the client side, you won't get an error if you try to handle a failure that never happens, but it won't be like typed. You won't see a failure there. It'll say never. Does that make sense? All right, back to here. And actually, the AI tools use a very similar semantic. You don't generate a client, but we use a similar semantic as RPC. And then we need to give the tools to the model. Generate a dad joke about cows. And we're going to do toolkit. Dad joke tools, which means here we'll get an error saying that actually, does Matthias language server do anything for me here? Is it installed? in the core library. Thought it was. Yeah, it is. But Tia, should I see an error here? I'm gonna like a first line that says the service that's missing. Gotcha. All right. I was just curious. We can just do this. Add joke handlers. Guys, I had too much coffee this morning. I'm like really buzzing. Uh, yeah. Lay it up wide. Python has that joke. So now this should default. All right, let me look at this. It does things. I think it's just trying to differentiate between errors and defects using React query. It's a bad way to interact. It's a bad way to interact with pipe classes. Let's see what we're opening. It's not a bad way, but because I mean, RX just exposes a way to handle defects, but there's like, there is probably a pattern that is exposed. Well, let's look at workshop. React solution runtime. So this uses React query. This is like from Tim's workshop, which by the way is, if you guys want to look at this is on YouTube. Both my half of the workshop and Tim's half of the workshop on like building apps with Effect is on YouTube. So let's see. Yeah, so Mitchell. Is that your name? God, I'm so bad. Let me check. Let me check. MSGS. I know you said it, so I'm scrolling back. Matt, fuck. All right, Matt. No, don't worry about changing your username. I will get. It's not you, it's me. I will get it straight. Uh, yeah. So like this is using React query, and you can see here we're just using a runtime. Like if you look at Effect's implementation here or Tim's implementation here, it uses React query. You could just catch the defect here, right? Because it's running it to a promise. So the defect could be handled in here. What did Tim put in Discord? More reusable patterns. Yeah. So, um, in that example, he's doing exactly this, right? This part we're in the query function, but he's also handling a defect case. So, Ethan, I so badly want to tweet out if anybody gets an application from somebody named Mitchell Armani, it might be Mike Arnaldi in disguise. I need to stop drinking coffee. Do it. Yeah, I might. All right, let's just do it. If anyone receives a job application from a Mitchell Armani, it B. How do you pull this, guys? Where's that picture? Think a better one. According to my Twitch chat, if it's not a good picture. Let me try this again. I'm so sad that Chester Bennington passed away. He was so goated. I need a prop. Oh, this is stupid. Okay. I wish they didn't restart the ban. I think should have stayed as it. Yeah. Yeah. So you're actually called. Yeah, I know. Poor guy. That's why I had to apologize. Oh my god. It's too funny. All right. I have done absolutely none of the work that I said I was going to do. Let me test this. PNPN, TSX, not this. Spirit. We actually want to run it up here. I don't know if tool use is working yet. Let me fetch that for you. I'll do the dad joke. How related joke. Let me fetch that for you. Let's just do if response results size greater than 0. I don't think that's going out that right. That's um, I just want to see what the results are in there. If they are, I'm just going to ship this so that people can start experimenting with it. Uh, nice. Now, we could also use structured output to do this. So let's try that as well. Um, generate an object. Well, I don't really want to generate. Let's do generate text. Let's make sure it works with generate text. Effect AI. Um, it should work, but let's just do this. Yep. No colors. True. I know there's some folks interested in like using this, so I want to get it out so that people can start testing it because I don't build with Bedrock frequently, but I know other folks do. So that's why I want to get it to the point where people can use it. Let's see. The metadata is correct. Finish using the tool calls, which is also correct. With calling the tool, which is correct. And usually you would like feed this back into the model. Right. So like we don't have any primitives right now that do the whole agentic request response cycle where the model calls your app to call a tool and then you respond with the tool call results. We don't have agentic primitives that let you do that yet because I tried implementing it in a way that was similar to Vercel's AI SDK with the whole like steps concept, and I hated it. I thought it was not good because we have better primitives in effect for that sort of thing for handling like that whole like pull-based lifecycle. So I think, I mean, I know that at some point we're gonna like design a module that's supposed to handle more of that like kind of agentic behavior. But for now, like you would basically just pass the response back to. Um, so we can actually do that. So I thought flat that. Let's just show what that would look like. If response dot finish reason equals tool false, then we yield AI language model dot generate text prompt. Oh, literally, you can just pass the response back in because this is going to contain all of the previous context that's relevant for the conversation. The other thing you could do here is use AI chat, which automatically tracks history for you, and you would just literally just call the model again. Um, but for now, we can do this, and it can just log this console log. Man, I feel bad for Mitchell Armani now. Uh-oh. The tool config field must be defined. I'm glad we tested this. The tool config field must be defined when using tool use and tool results content blocks. Don't have an image node. Let's go see what havoc we've caused. Probably not very much since I'm not super followed on Twitter, but this is so funny, Ethan. Landers, yeah, have a good one. All right, let's fix this. I don't know what it means, but let's fix it. Amazon Bedrock language model. What is tool config? The tool config field must be defined when using tool use. Okay. Who's a better programmer? Uh, if Mike has a cigarette in his mouth, he surpasses everyone. Um, I don't know. They're good at different things. But I swear, if you put a cigarette in Mike's mouth and you walk away and just like hand him his laptop, you'll get something fantastic in return. Infinitely Mitchell Arma. Oh, man. I like how Zelante waited until he thought Mateo or they thought Mateo left before asking that question. So my subsequent request, the tools are not getting passed through, which is the problem. So, fuck. So what is the problem here? The tool config field must be defined when using tool use and tool result content blocks. Why? If you've got a tool result, why do you need the tool config? Let's see what the message we're sending is. All right. Prepare yourself. This is where I can potentially leak stuff. You see, let's use a fucking a lot too. Oh no, this isn't going to leak anything. Okay, so the initial request looks like this, where we have the tool config and tools. The subsequent request. Hmm, I wonder if for Amazon Bedrock we need to like go through the prompt or the messages and see if there's. Mitchell Armani doesn't use agents. He uses a pack of 20 Marlboro Reds. I don't know if Mike smokes those, but maybe. Batia and Max, what do you think is the most overrated part of Effect? Hmm. Overrated. Overrated. I don't know. That's hard to answer because like Effect has only gotten really, really popular in like the last several months, I think. I mean, it's always been used by like larger companies and stuff, but we've only started to get some real mainstream traction in the last few months. So like, what do I think is overrated? Uh, I don't know. I would like turn it around. What do you think? Option? Yeah, I mean, okay, so the data types maybe are like overrated. Either. Oh my god, I have the perfect answer. The either data type. Most overrated, debated, stupidest thing. Like, who cares? It's an either. It's a disjoint union of something or something else. But people conflate either with result, and it's like I don't know. And it's just so I don't know. I'm happy we're renaming either to results in 4.0. So people stop like have the idea that it's just a disjoint union. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's many overrated things in Effect. I think we try to take a pragmatic approach to most things. I think there's a lot of innovation in the library, which is cool. I don't know. I don't think there's much in there that's like overrated. I've never like read a take on Twitter where somebody was hyping up a feature in Effect, and I was like, I don't care about that feature. If you know what I mean. All right. So the error here saying that tool config, but the tool config field must be defined when using tool use and tool result content blocks. But why is it not defined here? Shouldn't it? Oh, undefined. I wonder if we can just do. Is this good enough? Yeah. Get rid of this dude unlocked. It's not giving me any information. Um, Okay. So I think what we need to do here is main messages, returns. This is also an array. No, the content is an array. Block. Tool use in block or tool result in block. Some. Hey, what's up, Code with Josh? How's it going? Do you have any tips and advice for me as an engineer who recently graduated from university looking to find entry-level software engineering roles in terms of projects or learning? I think so. I've only been in a hiring position twice. I might be like a little bit unique in the approach that I took, which is that like I hate coding interviews. I don't think you learn anything about anyone in a like 40-minute whiteboard session. I don't think you learn anything because most people don't thrive under that kind of like pressure. You don't have time to think. You don't have all your tooling. It's like the dumbest, stupidest thing that it's the stupidest thing that the software engineering community has like come up with in terms of trying to figure out if candidates are qualified. In my opinion, I much prefer like take home tests where like or take home like things where like I can say, okay, you have this really small isolated assignment, go do this. Or if you can like tell me about a project and really walk me through it. Yeah, Ethan, I agree. Not even memorized. I just think you don't learn anything about an engineer in a whiteboard session. I've met engineers who do great on lead code garbage and suck in terms of architecture. And me, myself, I suck at the whiteboard interviews, but like I think I'm reasonably good at coming up with workable application architectures. Uh, not that like I'm, God's gift to the earth or anything like that, but it's, uh, yeah, I don't think you learn anything valuable. So, anyways, to answer Code with Josh a little bit more directly, um, I would focus on finding a project that you are interested in building and just start building it. Like, find a hard problem that you deal with in your regular day to day and solve it with software. It could be like a piece of software, it could be a piece of infrastructure that you build out. But just like find an annoying problem and solve it. Because then in your interviews, you can pretty much pivot any question you get into talking about projects you've worked on. And you could use that as an example. Whiteboarding on the job is totally different. Whiteboarding on the job is great because you that facilitates discussion, like that sort of thing is fun. And honestly, I'm okay with like whiteboarding in an interview if it's not coding, if it's like architecture. Architecture on a whiteboard is fun. You can like have a conversation with your interviewers about like the way you would design a piece of infrastructure or design a system, right? That's fine. But like coding, I don't know. People don't code like that. So it's like, so it's stupid. All right. I need to wrap up. Uh, I need to wrap up, so let's just see if we can get this working really quick. But yeah, Josh, that's my recommendations. Find the problem, solve it in a project, and that'll give you something to talk about in your interviews. And yeah, I think Ethan's advice is also good. You can look at jobs in the area, figure out what technologies they're asking for, learn them really well, or look for jobs in the areas that you're interested in, right? If you're interested in AI, look for AI jobs. If you're interested in infrastructure, look for infrastructure engineering jobs. But make sure you have like at least a project or two you've worked on, even if it's in your spare time to talk about. Okay, so if we have tools in our messages, so if we don't have any tools at all, this check doesn't seem like it makes sense for Amazon. It seems like I need to look at the messages. Let's invert this. Let's do um knowledge acquiescence. Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that. So if we have tools or if we have a tool message, then we'll do this. Otherwise, we'll set this on defined. Let's see if that gets what we want. Yeah, we still have a problem because we don't have access to these tools anymore. Well, what we could do, we could we could go through all the messages we have, grab all the tools, right? Either tool use or tool result blocks, and try to merge them into the tools that we give to the model. Really glad to hear that knowledge acquiescence. Listen, guys, I have a call I need to hop on, so I'm going to wrap up. But let's go rate somebody. Listen, folks, thank you very much for joining. Hope y'all had a nice morning with me. Sorry this was a shorter stream than I usually do. But I hope you all have a great day, great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Cheers, everybody.